Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cohen back here again today with another video. Another different kind of video than I typically make. I'm trying out some new variety type stuff, kind of seeing what you guys like, what you guys don't like. So if you like these type of kind of different videos, let me know in the comment section below. But today I'm going to be talking about my favorite player from every single team. This isn't their best player. This is the player that I like the most. I enjoy watching the most. Just kind of who I root for the most. I love a lot of players on a lot of these teams. This is all just my personal preference. Go ahead and leave down below who some of your favorite players are. If there's one that you don't get from me, you can go ahead and ask why they're my favorite player. But I'm going to kind of try and give an explanation for each player. I've got a list over here on the side of my computer screen that just has all the teams in alphabetical order. So I'll just go down the list telling you who is my favorite player, why, and maybe throwing in like an honorable mention to another guy on that team that I really like watching as well. So just going to go ahead and get into it. Leave a like, leave a subscribe if you like content like this. NBA content pretty much every single day. You know the drill. So, starting off with the Atlanta Hawks. My favorite player on the Atlanta Hawks is DeAndre Hunter. I am a UVA basketball fan, if you did not know, and he recently just graduated from UVA, or not graduated from UVA. He came out of UVA into the draft, is what I meant to say, winning a national championship for UVA in his last season there. I love the guy. I hope he's able to get healthy and stay healthy soon. Honorable mention has to go to Trae Young. I know a lot of people don't like watching Trae Young play, but he's just so talented. His ability to do everything on the offensive end of the ball, play make, he can shoot from like the logo pretty much anywhere as soon as he crosses half court. Trae Young's in range. He has some incredible dribble moves, and I just really like watching him play. So Trae Young is my honorable mention, but DeAndre Hunter is my favorite player on the Atlanta Hawks. Boston Celtics. This is one that I've kind of gone back and forth on, but I think I do have to say that my favorite player on the Celtics is Jaylen Brown. You're going to realize a trend in this video that I really like shooting guards for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because that's kind of the way I play in basketball. I play kind of like a shooting guard, point guard type role when I typically play, but I just really like Jaylen Brown's game. I like seeing players prove people wrong. And Jaylen Brown was a guy that a lot of people thought was a terrible pick at pick 3. They thought he was a reach, and he's been incredible for the Celtics. Also, when he got his contract extension, people gave him a lot of crap for it, and I really think he has earned his stay in Boston. He's earned his contract, obviously, playing incredible basketball for them, and I just really like watching him play. Great defender, great player on the offensive side of the ball as well. Jaylen Brown's my pick. Plus, he wears the number 7, which is my favorite number, so that's an added bonus. Honorable mention, Jason Tatum. Tatum's the other guy who I kind of sometimes I'm like, is Jason Tatum my favorite player on this team? Tatum's the guy that kind of proved me wrong. I honestly was not sure what Tatum was ever going to be. I never thought he would become like more than just like an all-star caliber player, and he's become much more than that. I could see him winning an MVP someday. So, shout out to Jason Tatum. Love his game. Next up with the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving this season has become one of my favorite players, like, period. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of all the media narratives around Kyrie Irving or just his ability to handle the ball in ways that I didn't realize were possible before Kyrie Irving, but the more I watch him play, the more I really appreciate his game. Obviously, watched him a lot with the Cavs, watched him a good bit with the Celtics, but just this season on the Brooklyn Nets, I think this is like the best version of Kyrie we've ever seen, and he's playing some incredible basketball. He's continuing to do the things that he does every single night, and I don't know what it is. I've just become a huge Kyrie fan this season. He is my favorite player on the Nets. Honorable mention, I don't know. I'll go James Harden. Honorable mention, James Harden. Next up, we've got the Charlotte Hornets. Favorite player on this team, I'm going to go LaMelo Ball. LaMelo is just really, really fun to watch. A great player. I love this Hornets team. I really, really like watching the Hornets. I say this a lot on this channel, but something about the Charlotte Hornets, I just love watching them play. Maybe it's because they're announcers. Maybe it's because they're really like Showtime-esque. Like they love throwing lobs. They love making crazy athletic plays. And LaMelo Ball is a big part of that. Throwing lobs, running the fast break, shooting deep threes for absolutely no reason. Just love stuff like that. He's really entertaining to watch. He might be coming back like very, very soon, so hopefully he is. And if he does, then I'm going to make a video on the Charlotte Hornets young core as a whole. Let me know if that's a video you want to see. Honorable mention has to go to Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a guy that a lot of people thought was overpaid going to Charlotte. To be honest, I thought it was also an overpay. And he's developed into a great player. He looks like he can be their point guard going forward. A backcourt of potentially him and LaMelo Ball in the future is really, really, really solid. And I think the Hornets have a really good core here. Terry Rozier is a big part of that, but LaMelo Ball is my favorite player on the roster. Next, we have the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to go with Zach LaVine. Great. Once again, another shooting guard. It's kind of a trend. I'm telling you, you're going to see it in the next couple of picks as well. But Zach LaVine is just super athletic. He's become like a unstoppable force on the offensive side of the ball as well this season, scoring around 30 points per game. He can put up 50 on pretty much any given night. Love Zach LaVine's game. Honorable mention probably goes to Thaddeus Young. I'll give an honorable mention to Thaddeus Young. He's a really solid role player, doesn't get enough love, and should be in the Sixth Man of the Year conversation. Next, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Colin Sexton. Darius Garland is also very close. Those are probably my two favorites, but I'll go Sexton. Just because, I don't know what it is. I just really enjoy his game. Like I said, shooting guards, his ability to put up points at a rapid rate. And that game against the Nets earlier this season just really made me a big fan of his. But I love Darius Garland's game as well. And the fact that he is proving everyone wrong is a reason why he has so quickly risen in like my viewpoint of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's risen in my favorite player rankings for them. Then we have the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic. I don't have to tell you why. I really don't even know if I need to give an honorable mention. It's Luka Doncic, 100% all the way. If I have to give an honorable mention, I'll go Boban. Boban is my honorable mention. Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, MVP this season, I would say. I don't see anyone taking the award from him. One of the most unique players we've ever seen. We have never seen a guy run around like he's in sandals on the court and put up MVP type numbers. Jokic is so fun to watch. Every play he's going to do something incredible that just you're like, how the hell is he doing that? That's Nikola Jokic. And my second favorite player, probably Jamal Murray. I love Jamal Murray's game. His playoff run was incredible, and I hope he gets well soon. Detroit Pistons. I'm going to go with Isaiah Stewart here. I love Isaiah Stewart's game. It feels like the Pistons always end up with like a generational type rebounder, and that seems to be what Isaiah Stewart has the potential to be. Puts up monster numbers in his rookie season. He's a great rebounder, like I just said. And what I like about him is he's not afraid to get dunked on, and that is shown by the fact that he gets dunked on a lot, like an insane amount. I think it's just in his rookie season, he's had like 5 or 6 just awful poster dunks on him, and he just keeps going up for him. I can appreciate that effort. Second favorite player, I'll go Jeremy Grant, Thunder legend. Have to give him a shout out here. Golden State Warriors, it's Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry. I don't need to explain to you why it's Steph Curry. Second favorite player on this team, Klay Thompson. I know he's not healthy right now, but Klay Thompson deserves this shout out, man. I want to see Klay healthy so bad. I love Klay's game. He just puts up points so nonchalantly. He has so many records, so many fond memories of like my first time, as I was really getting into basketball, was as the Warriors were beginning to rise and seeing Klay grow and become the player that he is today, or he has been for the last few seasons for the Golden State Warriors. It's just really cool to see. Plus, he's just got really funny memes. Houston Rockets. This is a tough one. I'll go Christian Wood. I'm a big Christian Wood fan. I'm a believer in him. I think he was a steal of a contract by the Houston Rockets, and he's going to be really good for them. Second, I'll go Kevin Porter Jr. to give him some love for that 50-point game that he had last night. Indiana Pacers, Malcolm Brogdon, once again, a UVA guy. I think he has Mike Conley type potential for the Pacers for the long term. Not sure if he'll ever end up being an all-star. He had the potential. He was kind of looking like he was going to be one to start the season, and then the Pacers kind of fell off and his numbers kind of declined a little bit, and he didn't end up holding it down on that end of the floor, so he just didn't end up being an all-star. I think he still has the potential to be one at some point in his career, but for right now, I love him. He's a UVA guy. And second favorite player is Domantas Sabonis, Thunder legend. Los Angeles Clippers. I don't know with the Clippers. It's between Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're two best players. It's between the two of them. I also like Serge Ibaka, but I think I'll give it to Paul George. He's another guy he played for the Thunder, and he's been a guy that has been proving a lot of people wrong this season. I do also like the way that Kawhi is kind of just a silent assassin. But I'll show love to the former Thunder player. I'll give it to Paul George. The Lakers, it's LeBron James. He's one of my favorite players of all time. One of the greatest of all time. I don't need to tell you why. LeBron James is so good. And second favorite player is Dennis Schroeder. Thunder legend. Don't need to say much more than that. Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to go Ja Morant. I think Ja's my pick. He's electric, explosive. I really hope he stays healthy because some of those he lands on it like one leg way too often. I need him to stop doing that because I'm so worried he's going to get hurt every time. Explosive, developing that three-point shot. He's going to be a franchise point guard for years for the Memphis Grizzlies. Then we have the Miami Heat. I'm going to go Bam Adebayo. Yeah, I'm going to go Bam Adebayo on this one. Fun defensive player, super versatile. I think Bam Adebayo is the center of the future for the NBA. He's smaller, but he still plays like he's much larger than he is. I think he's only like 6'9", 6'10". I think it's 6'9", if I recall correctly. And he plays like he's a 7-footer, the way that he battles down the paint. He blocks shots. He does really everything. He's also a pretty good perimeter defender, good distributor. He's going to be the Heat center for the rest of his tenure as a Miami Heat. We'll see if he stays around or how long he stays around, but he's my favorite player on that team. Also, shout out to Jimmy Butler. Love Jimmy Butler's game. Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, I think it's got to be Giannis. I just like Giannis a lot. I'm glad that Giannis decided to stay with the Bucks. I know a lot of people were trying to force him out and force him to go to like Miami or something like that, like a bigger market. I'm glad he stayed in Milwaukee. Minnesota Timberwolves. I think it's Anthony Edwards at this point. I really, really like Anthony Edwards. Whether it's just, he has like the funniest interviews possible. If I'm ever able to interview an NBA player, Anthony Edwards is like towards the top of my list because he's just really, really funny and also has blown me away this season, specifically since the All-Star break. The way that he's played has been incredible. The Timberwolves are on a 4-game win streak, and a lot of that is due to him. New Orleans Pelicans, it's going to be Zion Williamson. I think it has to be Zion. Become a dominant force. He's already a top 15 player in the NBA in his second season. You just can't stop him. There's nothing you can do to stop Zion Williamson. And my second favorite player, I think, is Steven Adams, probably. I love Steven Adams. New York Knicks. Julius Randle. Julius Randle has become one of my favorite players in the entire league this season. Not even on the Knicks. The entire league this season. He's really, really fun. I did not expect it. Not at all. I did not expect this jump. I'm not going to act like this was something I predicted or saw coming. I don't know. Julius Randle he went from a like bad contract / tradable asset potentially to an all-star and franchise caliber player in one season. It's incredible. Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think I need to give you this answer, but I'll say it anyways. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, followed very closely by Lou Dort as my second favorite player in this team, and every single other player is right there behind those guys as well. Love this Thunder team, but SGA definitely our franchise guy. Came in, he was the big piece from the Paul George trade, and I think he's going to be our franchise cornerstone and potentially our best player when we're winning a championship, hopefully a couple years down the line. Orlando Magic. I'm going to go with Markelle Fultz, followed closely by Jonathan Isaac. I think a lot of people forget Fultz is on this team sometimes. When I was thinking of the players for this video, I was looking at the Magic and I was like, I don't know. I don't have like a lot of attachment to any player on their roster. Like Chuma Okeke's cool. I like Cole Anthony as a prospect. Wendell Carter Jr. is playing really well. But I almost forgot like Markelle Fultz existed for a second. Just because him and Isaac have both been out for so long with those injuries that have like they felt like so long ago, both of those injuries. And I hope that Fultz is able to come back and continue putting up the numbers he was. He was a guy who was on my radar for a most improved player candidate coming into the season. And he was playing great. He was putting up really good numbers. It's just unfortunate that he suffered that season-ending injury. I'm looking forward to when he comes back next season, and the future's looking bright for Orlando. For the Sixers, I think it used to be Ben Simmons, but it's probably Joel Embiid at this point. Just dominant. Love watching him play. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but he shoots so many free throws. The reason he shoots so many free throws is because he's really, really, really good. And people have to foul him so he doesn't score. For the Phoenix Suns, I like the Phoenix Suns a lot because two of my favorite players in the entire league are on this team. Chris Paul is my favorite player on this team, but Devin Booker is right there. Chris Paul playing for the Thunder is the reason he's my favorite player on this team, but I've loved Devin Booker for a long time. I'm so happy he's able to finally get that playoff appearance that I think he deserves, and Chris Paul continues to put up great numbers while being a great leader, deserving MVP candidate. He's not going to win it or anything. I think it's no Jokic's award to pretty much lose at this point, but the way that Chris Paul has helped to turn around the Suns alongside Devin Booker. Do not forget about Devin Booker and the role players and the coaching. Don't forget about the rest of the Suns when talking about how they're so good. Chris Paul, I feel like it gets a lot of credit, which he deserves, but so do the rest of the Suns. Devin Booker and Chris Paul are two of my favorite players, but I think I'm going to give it to Chris Paul. For the Trailblazers, I'll go Damian Lillard. I know that's not going to be popular for the Thunder fans also alongside me watching this video, but I like Dame. I can't help but appreciate greatness. I know he hit that shot, but ultimately that shot was the best thing that could have happened to the Thunder at that point. It was what was needed to move on to a new era, and now we've got Shea, Dort, and all those other guys. For the Sacramento Kings, it's De'Aaron Fox. Not a ton of attachment to many other players on this roster. If I had to choose a second favorite player, it's probably Rashawn Holmes, Kyle Guy, also a UVA guy. But I really like Rashawn Holmes as well. He's been a really underrated center this season. He's going to get paid. Rashawn Holmes is going to get an absolute bag. But De'Aaron Fox, I hope he gets some help because he absolutely deserves it, putting up monster numbers. He was a deserving all-star candidate this season. I think he's going to be one potentially next season or years down the line. He just barely missed out on it this year. For the Spurs, it is DeJounte Murray. He was a guy who I thought was going to win Most Improved Player last season, or was one of my candidates to win Most Improved Player. And then he got hurt, and he's been hurt a lot in his career, unfortunately. But it seems like he's finally finding a stride, being able to stay healthy. Lockdown defender, good playmaker. He's like a Ben Simmons like mini version, where he plays larger than he is at the point guard position. He could play point guard, shooting guards, or small forward, maybe even power forward in a small ball lineup. If you need him to, he can play make, he can score, he can do whatever you need him to. Toronto Raptors, I'm going to go with Gary Trent Jr. This is one where I'm not really picking a star player, another shooting guard. Gary Trent Jr., though, I think he's a bucket. I'm happy he's off the Trailblazers because I'm super high on him and his potential for the future. And I think the Raptors got a really, really good one with Gary Trent Jr. I see a lot in him. He just puts up points, solid defender or a hard-nosed player who plays hard every single possession, and he hits some incredible shots. For the Utah Jazz, it's going to be Donovan Mitchell. I like Donovan Mitchell a lot. I think he gets too much hate on NBA Twitter specifically because I'm on there all the time. So I see the hate firsthand, but he deserves a lot of love as well, the way that he's playing this season and the way that he's been a leader for the Utah Jazz as the best team in the NBA so far. And finally, we get to the Washington Wizards, and conveniently enough, I'm wearing my Russell Westbrook Wizard shirt that literally just came in the mail today. So I don't need to tell you who my favorite player is on this team. Russell Westbrook, my favorite player of all time. Love the guy. Happy to see him succeeding on the Wizards. He's going to break the triple-double record, or career total triple-double record very, very soon this season, I think. And that's going to be an incredible milestone. I can't wait to see it. I also really like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was my favorite player on the Wizards, another shooting guard, and one of my favorite players in the entire league before Russell Westbrook got here. He still is one of my favorite players in the league, but Russ has to be my pick here. So those are my favorite players on every single team. A lot of people have asked that before of me. A lot of times when I tweet out asking for people's like questions, when I want to do Q&As when I'm bored on Twitter, people will go, hey, who's your favorite player on so-and-so team? Or who are some of your favorite players in the league? So here is a comprehensive list that from now on I can show to people and I don't have to talk about anymore. So these are all my favorite players on each team, featuring some honorable mentions. I definitely missed or forgot to do some honorable mentions for some of the teams. It's whatever. You've made it to the end of the video anyways, you don't care. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it to the end of this video, drop a I love Russell Westbrook in the comment section below. I will see you guys later. Real one say.